But I think what has been common, and I can't say I was surprised by this, but I'm just seeing a lot of excitement and the energy across the industry, right? Whether you're talking to line of business, or you're talking to technology folks, or you're talking to operations folks. I think all the experiences that we all dreamt about for our customers within our respective companies, and you didn't have the right technology to deliver those experiences, now everybody's like, oh, I can do this, right? We can provide this experience to our customer. So everybody is sort of thinking about how I can innovate with this technology. A lot of people are really trying to figure this out and understand the technology. So I think there's just one general excitement.
Hello and welcome to Activate New York City. Super excited to be here and super excited to be with Puneet Agrawal, who is Director of Solutions Architecture at AWS for Enterprise Americas. Really excited to have you here.
Thanks for having me here, Jeff. Thanks for being an amazing partner, and it's a great event, so looking forward to our chat.
Right on. So why don't you start by explaining that title? Explain what you do, what your team does. You have a big team.
So my title at AWS is Director of Solutions Architecture, and I have the pleasure of leading customer solutions architecture teams across the United States for select industry verticals. So for example, we work quite a bit with advertising and marketing companies, we work with travel and hospitality companies, we work with semiconductor customers, we work with consulting and agriculture customers, and few other industry verticals. But as part of our solution architecture organization, our goal is to deeply understand our customers' business needs and the business outcomes that they are driving. And then it's my team's responsibility to interface with the customers and help our customers develop the right architecture and solutions on top of AWS platform. So think of us as engineers who are part of your team helping you innovate on top of AWS platform.
And who are you mostly working with on that side? Like what are the titles of the people you're working with?
I think we work quite a bit, of course, with the information technology teams, like technology teams across the board. But we also find ourselves working very closely with the product team and the product management team. We work very closely, of course, with the infrastructure and the systems team. And I think, as you know, I'm sure we will get into it, we are increasingly working a lot with the line of business teams, folks who are really trying to figure out how they can innovate on the customer experience side, how they can change how they operate across their businesses. So we have quite a bit of co-innovation going on with the lines of business as well.
And especially as you're dealing with lines of business, which is not just the tech side, the larger side, you're seeing a lot of change.
Yeah.
The speed of innovation is just not only all over the news, but just all over companies.
Yeah.
What variables are you seeing shifting most in the work that you do?
Yeah, I think maybe two or three things I'll mention there. I think first, what we are seeing with our customers is their investment on research and development is accelerating big time. I think our customers are spending more time in figuring out what the right use cases are to use the new technology with. They are investing quite a bit on creating those proof of concepts and taking those proof of concepts to production. And then I think third, there is a lot of investment on improving just productivity across the organization, right? So for example, I mean, most companies, I think, and most development teams are now using tools like QDeveloper or Kiro or any other development AI tools out there. So I think that's one part that's happening, that's changing very fast, and our customers are really looking at the ROI on some of these innovations that they are doing. So I think that's the first thing. The second thing, and this is maybe more on the technical side, data and the focus on data has gained some renewed momentum. And of course, data strategy has been important for customers for the last 2 decades. But now when you're starting to talk about AI and autonomous systems and the agents, your systems are only as good as your data. So there is a renewed focus on, do we have the right quality of data? Is our data organized in the correct way? Do we have the right governance around our data? And are we able to bring AI to our data? So I think that's sort of the second area that I think companies are focused on. And maybe finally, the third area is change management and cultural transformation and workforce transformation, things that technologists don't always think about as much. But I think those are the key areas that differentiate organizations who are going full scale with AI or with the technology transformation, because it's really important to bring your organization along, your team along on this technology transformation journey. So there has been a lot of investment on just enabling the organizations around the new technologies. And then how do you manage that change across your business teams, across your operations team, across your technology teams, so that you see the ROI benefits.
You're seeing an increase in R&D, which makes sense.
Yeah.
You need that innovation to flow out through a company,
Yeah.
which is change management. What are some of the ways you see companies do ROI well and not,
Yeah.
to show that? Because it's a hard thing to show.
It's a hard thing.
I mean, and especially time. Just wondering, what is, what companies are doing it well? You don't
Yeah.
name the companies, but
Yes.
and where do you see, people falling short?
Yeah, I think it all really starts with the use case selection. Sometimes when technology teams are leading the transformation, they would tend to pick use cases that may seem simple or where they can just add AI and produce some outputs. But I think cases where the business and the product teams are really involved in the use case selection and driving outputs from the AI, they tend to pick the use cases where they can measure the ROI or where they may already have established metrics. So to give you an example, we see a lot of organizations starting their experiments with generative AI with their contact centers, because contact centers are one place where you can easily measure the impact of the new technology. You already have all the right metrics in place, like customer churn or like customer sentiment, and all those metrics, NPS scores that you can actually measure. So starting your AI experiments with the use cases that first matter to the business, and second, where you may already have the right metrics established, I think that starts to build a muscle for the organization to think about how to measure ROI around technology transformations.
I mean, I think that's really wise. It's basically focus on what you know,
Yeah.
so you can understand
Yeah.
what's happening, what's changing, and then obviously iterate along the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I think that's really smart. We've been talking a lot about what's been happening, how fast things are moving, not only at AWS, but in the industry. How are you seeing your customers, reacting and feeling in the environment?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and I think we see all sorts of reactions and emotions across different industries. But I think what has been common, and I can't say I was surprised by this, but I'm just seeing a lot of excitement and the energy across the industry, right? Whether you're talking to line of business, or you're talking to technology folks, or you're talking to operations folks. I think all the experiences that we all dreamt about for our customers within our respective companies, and you didn't have the right technology to deliver those experiences, now everybody's like, oh, I can do this, right? We can provide this experience to our customer. So everybody is sort of thinking about how I can innovate with this technology. A lot of people are really trying to figure this out and understand the technology. So I think there's just one general excitement.
Yeah.
I think along with that, of course, technology is changing really fast, and a lot of people are, just trying to catch up with the change of technology. So I think there is a little bit of, if you don't understand the technology or you don't understand the high-level concepts, then you could be feeling like, hey, do I know enough? How do I select the right use case, or how do I measure the ROI? So I think there is a little bit of, hey, I need to learn and I need to grow. So we are seeing some of that as well.
And so, and this maybe you can talk a little bit,
Yeah.
following up on that answer, how AWS is adjusting to work with your customers. I mean, I've been fortunate to be a partner of AWS, a big part of my career. How are you adjusting your team that's in the trenches with the technical teams of your brands and customers?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question, Jeff. I think maybe just at a high level first, I mean, we at Amazon, we look at ourselves as world's largest startup, right? So the speed at which we have our internal processes, designed for, I think that's just very well situated for any change that is happening or may happen or has happened, right? If you look at what we have done in the cloud space and what we continue to do with different layers of the AI stack, I think we are just organized for that speed. So I think that's one aspect. The other aspect is our approach continues to be, very much customer focused and customer obsessive approach. So regardless of the landscape, we just work backwards from our customers. But to answer your question specifically, I think we are trying to meet our customers where they are and how we can really enable our customers, right? So for example, we recently doubled our investment in a generative AI innovation center where we help our customers build minimum lovable products and help them take those products to production. We invested additional $100 million recently there. So we are doing that. From my team's perspective, we are really helping customers understand the technology, right? So to give you an example, how the software development lifecycle changes with AI, we are working very closely with our customers. We just released a white paper on AI DLC, AI-assisted development lifecycle. And we are working very closely with customers on, hey, how do you actually use different tools and how does it change your software development lifecycle? So I think that's probably one example. We are doing a lot more POCs and proof of concepts and out of possible to make sure the lines of business understand the transformative nature of this technology. So those are probably a couple of examples.
And going the other side of that, I appreciate that. I've been talking and saying that the horizon of technology seems closer than ever, right? And it's moving fast. We're moving fast, but it's also very, very cloudy. Because the innovation's happening so fast. You just talked about how you're helping your customers iterate and do that. But how do you help them future-proof? Again, that's a big part of it. Taking risks and partnering with AWS is important. What are some of the techniques that your team uses?
I think the fundamental techniques probably remain the same, like on how you design a well-architected application. So what we did, for example, we added a machine learning lens to our well-architected framework. So our customers are not only designing for security and compliance and reliability, but they are also looking at some ML-specific lenses as well. So I think that's one area. I think second, the choice of the tools continues to be super important, and especially in the age where you are seeing new models coming out almost every other week, or you're seeing new protocols coming out every other week. So for example, what we recently announced in Agent Core, which is our agentic platform, you can use different frameworks. It's model agnostic. So you can use models provided by Amazon, you can use open weight, open source model, you can use models from any provider really to build your system. So having the right tools in place and not just marrying to one specific model or one specific tool, I think that opens up the aperture. So I think that's one thing. The other thing is, and this best practice has been in the industry forever, right? Service-oriented architecture and microservices architecture. Because what you will start to see is companies will take a whole capability that they offer to their customers, and they will start to introduce AI in different aspects of that capability. So is your existing architecture or the new architecture modular enough that you can take one aspect of that architecture or capability, add AI to it, measure it, and then iterate on it?
I mean, basically, you have to be very agile. You have to be agile as a team, but also agile as an infrastructure, especially now when things are changing. Shifting a little bit more towards your work with a cross-section. I mean, like again, AWS and your team works with a lot of different kinds of customers across vertical. What can you share about the agnostic approach you take to serving such a diverse customer base?
I think, just as we, work with our customers, our approach is anything but agnostic. Really, we have single-threaded teams focused on different industry segments. So we are really going very deep into each industry segment, making sure we understand the competitive landscape our customers are working in, what future looks like for them 2 years from now, 5 years from now. So we are very focused on industry-specific problems. And innovating with our customers there. So and that's why all our teams are sort of organized by industries. But to your point, I think from a leadership perspective, when you work with such diverse set of customers, I mean, I had to adjust my leadership style when I moved from I used to support financial services and media and entertainment companies, and with my team now, I've probably changed my style to listen more, and I'm getting the real signals and knowledge from the customers and my teams on, hey, what is the right solution, what should be the right priority, and then. So you tell less, you listen more. I think that's one thing, and then of course you would have common mechanisms and framework across all the industries that you will use to measure performance. See how customers are adopting different products, how many POCs we are delivering for those customers. So I think it's a mix of very focused on the customer industry problems, but then you take some technical horizontals and you start to measure them as well.
Looking further ahead, what's a frontier application of AI that excites you? Maybe something most leaders aren't talking about.
Yeah. I don't know if most leaders are not talking about this stuff. I think there are a lot of good books and podcasts and articles on this topic. So it's really difficult to pinpoint something. But look, I'm excited about a lot of things when it comes to AI, right? How we book our travel right now, how we invest in stocks or other instruments, how we interact with our friends and families, and how this may impact social media, and candidly how we access medical services, right? How we learn, how we innovate. I think a lot of that will change, and I'm just looking forward to that next phase of the evolution that we are going through together.
Right on. Okay, so last question. Normally I would say, hey, paint the picture 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what do you see? But it's moving too fast.
Yeah.
So make a prediction, next 12, 18 months, what's going to change in this landscape, where we are from an AI perspective or technology perspective?
You're absolutely right, Jeff. It's really difficult to predict what will happen. But I think you can see some signals on where the things are moving. I think first, you will definitely see a lot more AI applications in production. I mean, we continue to help our customers take applications to production. So like within the next 12 to 18 months, you will see a lot of AI applications in production. Second, you will definitely see a lot of investments and application of agentic AI. I think that area is moving super fast. You will see new experiences that will happen. And then I think on the third side, AI will become cheaper. The cost of inference should go down. The inference will continue to become faster. So I think it all points in the right direction. And I'm sure models will continue to get smarter, but I'm really looking forward to how our customers innovate and in this space and bring the right experiences to their customers.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us at Activate and being such a great partner. Really appreciate
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks for having me.